For the most part, the person's just making a backdrop.
Yeah.
Because if you make a straight line story, one character can do something and screw the whole thing up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of DMs out there that will have like a giant book of step-by-step of everything the player's going to do. And a lot of times they fall short and then they have to quickly improvise. When I make them, and I try to tell people this, don't ever plan for the characters to do something because they're not going to do what you plan them to do.
Yeah.
So you have a bunch of places that the characters may go, and then this way you have stuff ready for it.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a dungeon over in a forest somewhere, and the characters are like, okay, let's go there. And then one player's like, but I don't want to go in the forest. I'd rather go over to this swamp over here. Well, you better have something
for
prepared,
the swamp.
or
Yeah.
at least have some monsters ready for that swamp so you can try to stall the players so you can quickly come up with something when they get there.
Yeah.
Where do you think the best place to start with world building is?
Paper and a pencil. That's the best way to do it. Draw your map out and then give yourself a basic setting of why this world's here and why is it different than anything else you're going to use.
Playing in the sandbox that is this world you've created, are you also keeping track somewhere else of the other things going on in this world as a whole, like that, for example?
Well, of course. There's I have a campaign sheet that I have written out, and I keep everything on my PC. So if that hard drive goes, I cry. But in different sections of the world, there's different things going on. Like West Zaft and East Zaft, for example, they're at war with each other right now. And if players go to that part, there will be ways that they can change the direction of that war. So if like the players join the Adventurers Guild there and decide, you know what, instead of doing that, we're going to go help these soldiers with this war, they can sway which direction that war goes.
Good or bad.
Exactly.
Depending on if Gumby's there or not.
So
Yeah.
Exactly. So I let the players decide what goes on in my world per se. I don't. Like for the little things, like if this land wants to invade this land, well, they're going to. But I let the players do most of the decisions for me on that. Let them do it. I don't start writing the nitty-gritties until, let's say, a new group comes in and says, we want to play this. I pull up my map and go, okay, what would be interesting this time? I've already did this. Let's try this. So I'll start the characters over here, and then I'll world build that section as that group is playing.
The way that you have designed your world is really good because it seems like it really diminishes the possibility of something like imploding and you really having to be on your feet for something because you're allowing so much of it to be created by the players as they're playing.
Well, what I do, because a lot of D&D especially is a lot of traveling from town to town or from dungeon to dungeon. So what I do is in those areas, if I go on my computer, I have a folder for every single solitary terrain on that part of the map. So there's a Forest of Feybarks where you guys are at. I have a folder with all the possible enemies that you could fight there, and I'll randomly just pull it. So if you guys go and do something that I wasn't anticipating, open the folder. Your challenge rating is whatever. I put the challenge ratings on the monster so I know that they're not going to be too hard or too easy for you. Throw it in there. That gives me time to plan ahead for when you get to the destination that you're going to.